Hello, Hariom. Hello, everyone. I am Vishal Wadhwani. Welcome to the episode or 29th episode of Sanskriti and Samskar. Today, we have a very special topic, like always. And, the Shraddh period is going on. So, our topic for today's talk is importance of Pitra Dosha and Shraddh. So, everyone in Hindu families know about Shraddh, and we don't know much in deep about us. So today we have a very special speaker. Her name is Miss Kritika Khatri, and she is from an institution called Sanatan Sanstha. I'll just can we welcome Miss Kritika Khatri on the stage, please, on the screen. Hariom Kritika ji, how are you doing? All well.
Hariom, yeah, I'm
Well,
good by God's grace.
well, welcome to our show. I've been lucky to hear Kritika ji live when we had an event in Ajmer with Dada Dayal Harjani, and I
Yeah,
can't forget that talk. She's a very good speaker. So we look forward to hear from you, Kritika ji, today.
thank
Lots
you.
of things
Thank you.
and share your valuable knowledge to our viewers. So I'll just introduce Kritika ji to all the viewers. She's a company secretary and a lawyer, so that's quite commendable. And coming from such a good background, you're so humble. She's also a former law academician, and she has been on several TV shows as a panelist, debating on dharmic and national related issues. Also, she is associated to a lot of leading Hindu related newspapers. I get one copy every month from her
Yeah.
institution. And she's also done a lot of research on spirituality, and she has, in fact, done a lot of. She's written a lot of papers on this topic, which is spirituality, Indic topic, internet, and also presented all these in international conferences. She also studies women empowerment, and she practices by herself for sure. So, if I talk about her, it will be the end of the show. She's so much talented, but let's briefly talk to her and immediately start the show. Welcome, Kritika ji. Now, I would like to welcome Dada Dayal Arjani to please grace the show.
Hari Om,
Hari Om,
Vishal,
Dada.
thank you very much. And welcome to Kritika ji on our show. And a warm welcome to all the viewers. Kritika ji, before I commence my questions, I would like to share with the viewers a few things about Shraddh, and then you can elaborate on that later as we go along. My perspective is that Shraddh is termed as ancestor or ancestral worship. And this is not the monopoly of Indians or Hindus. This is going on since time immemorial in various parts of the world. For example, the Chinese culture, ancestor worship is deeply rooted. They honor their ancestors through rituals, offerings, festivals like in Qingming every year. Then we have Africans, Japanese Shinto, Native American culture, and Filipino culture, and Roman Catholicism, and Samoan and Polynesian cultures. They've been all doing that. But our Shraddh is a slightly different thing, in my opinion, which you can correct me, is that we are praying for the facilitation and benefit of the ancestors. We are not asking them for any favors. We are not worshipping them or praying them as an intermediary to God. So let us discuss later on that. And in our Hindu culture, we have been following Shraddh from the time of Sri Ram. According to the research done, Sri Ram performed the Shraddh on the banks of the Falgu river in Gaya. And he performed the Shraddh on the 12th day of his father, Raja Dashrath. So, which means our Shraddh is split into two. One is the Shraddh which we do on the 12th day of the deceased, and the other is every year. So this is my particular study and introduction, and you can talk about it later on when we get into the subject of Shraddh. So now I'll just ask you about Pitra Dosh, and we'll start the program. Pradeep, please put Kritika full. That's it.
Yeah.
Kritaji, my first question is, what really is Pitra Dosh, and how we can come to know if one has Pitra Dosh? So I leave the answer to you.
Yeah. Hari Om, Namaste, and Jai Jhulelal to everyone watching this show today. I pay my obeisance to Jagat Guru Bhagwan Sri Krishna as we are talking about the Pitra doshas and how to combat them. So then I pay my obeisance to Lord Dattatreya and my Guru, His Holiness Dr. Jayant Athavle ji. He is the founder of Sanatan Sanstha. So, to begin with, according to the science of spirituality and unknown to the modern sciences, 50% of difficulties in our lives are caused solely due to spiritual factors, and another 30% due to spiritual as well as psychological or physical factors. According to the science of spirituality, one aspect of these spiritual root causes of problems in our lives is the distress which is caused due to descendants by the subtle bodies of their ancestors who have actually passed away or who have died. It is also one of the more common spiritual factors that affects almost all of humanity in some form or the other form. Before we have a detailed explanation as to why our ancestors would want to kind of trouble us, let us first examine the kinds of difficulties that people can experience due to departed ancestors. So, what is Pitra Dosh? Pitra Dosh is basically the doshas created because of departed ancestors not being happy in their afterlife. The distress caused to us by descendants, by the subtle bodies of our ancestors, it manifests in many ways. And in our day to day lives, also, it manifests. It creates obstacles in both our worldly lives as well as our spiritual practice. If we do some spiritual practice, then also it may create obstacles in it. So, in some cases, it may seem that the entire family has a dark cloud over it. When there is some noise, I'll just hold on for a second.
What happened?
No, she's coming back.
I hope nothing to do with Pitra Dosh.
No, she's coming back. She took the permission.
Somebody is happy or unhappy that we are talking about this
Yeah,
subject.
yeah, true.
Yeah, so basically, I'm sorry for the interruption in between. So basically, the problems that are created or the obstacles which are created in our worldly as well as our spiritual life are caused by ancestors, and many a times we don't come to know about it. So, in some cases, it may seem that the entire family has a dark cloud over it, and various family members are undergoing various problems despite all the efforts to overcome them. The difficulties that are created due to departed ancestors, they come in various forms. So, how can we come to know if we have those kind of problems or if we are facing those kind of problems? So, some of the problems include that people are not able to get married. The girl or the boy of a marriageable age who's very educated, who's good looking, who earns well, who's well settled in life, he has tried or he or she has tried many a times, one met many people but unable to get married. Then sometimes people they do get married, they are settled, but there is marital disharmony among the couple, the two of them. And if you talk to them, if you discuss the things with them, then you realize that there are very petty issues on which they are fighting, and there is no particular big reason because of that marital disharmony as has arisen in their lives. Then there are addictions which are caused by ancestral problems. And mind you, addictions, if we talk about them, then it could be addiction of smoking or drinking, or excessive amount of usage of a particular thing, causing it to become addictive to it. So, a sizable amount of addictions are due to ancestral spirits which are possessing the descendants in order to experience the addictive substance or activity. So, what happens? The descendants, they are made a medium of actually fulfilling the desire of a departed soul. So, that's why the person is addicted to a particular thing. Then, if we talk about children, then they have their annual examinations in schools. So many a times, children, they go blank in examinations despite being well prepared for it. There is financial difficulties, loss of job, difficulty in conceiving a child. Then there are miscarriages. Sometimes people, they do bear children. So bearing mentally challenged children or children with special needs are also caused due to ancestral problems. There are cases in which the children, they die early, death during childhood. So miscarriage ho, yeah, whether it is death in childhood, this happens when the distress by ancestors is coupled with some other major spiritual causes, such as destined possible death. It cannot happen solely on account of distress of ancestors, because one very important principle of spirituality is that the birth, the death, and the marriage of an individual is predestined. So while all these types of problems, they have a strong indication of ancestral problems, only a saint or a guru, that is a spiritually evolved guide, can tell with certainty the root cause of a particular problem a person is facing in life. So some of the physical signs are such which we have discussed. And also, at an intellectual level, if we are not able to solve same same kind of problems which we face quite again and again, and there is no particular reason as to why we are not able to do it, so then we need to understand that it is all because of spiritual reason, and that spiritual reason is the ancestral problems. Also, there are some of the physical forms in which we can come to know that we are facing pitra dosh or we are facing ancestral problems. That snakes come in our dreams. The ancestors, they often come in our dreams, and the same crow repeatedly visits our home. So subtle bodies of the ancestors, they enter the crow temporarily, and they visit our home regularly. So this can also happen with people, and I have had conversation with many people who are facing these kind of problems. So at an intellectual level, how we should come to know if this is because of ancestral problems, or there is some physical or some psychological problem and we need to combat it, or we need to find a solution to it. So there is one rule of thumb, which is that all the remedies to solve the problems, they have failed. This is especially so when the problem should be easily treatable by modern sciences, such as skin rash, chest pain, stomach ache, and then a number of family members in the same family are suffering from different types of issues, and simultaneously they are all affected by it. The reason that all the family members, they get affected by the problems, the same kind of problems, is that they all have the same ancestors. That is why they do suffer with the same kind of problems. So now I think I would be able to clarify with to all of you, all the viewers, what pitra dosh is, what ancestral problems are, and how we should come to know if we are suffering from pitra dosh or ancestral problems or not. So these are the
Okay.
particular incidents which can
I'd
help
like
us
to ask you,
identify.
got you there.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, these problems, what about suicidal tendencies? Are they also included in this Pitta dosh, according to you?
Yes, they are, because sometimes what happens, some people they do get possessed by negative energies. So it could be because of ancestral problems, or it could be because of being possessed by a negative energy. So this can be told only by a spiritually evolved guru or a saint, whether the person suffering from societal tendencies is because of some ancestor troubling or because of some negative energy troubling.
So, what about chronic conditions, cancer,
Pardon?
and chronic conditions, health conditions like
Chronic.
cancer? And you think these
Yeah.
kind of chronic conditions could be caused by distress um, ancestor who has died with a lot of unhappiness while living?
Yeah, it could be because of that also, and it could be because of some person's destiny also. That the destiny is such that the person has to face some chronic health condition, or it could be because of being possessed by a negative energy. So it all depends, it all varies from person to person, and it can be told by a spiritually evolved saint or a guru.
Now, how did this element of Pitradosh come into existence? Is it written in our scriptures or is it the realization of the saints but not recorded? Is it in the Garud Puran or something like that? Do you have any idea on that?
Yeah, it is basically Pitradosh why it came, because in the present times most people do not actively practice spirituality. So the basic causes of basic reason why we all are suffering from Pitradosh is that we don't do some spiritual practice in the present life. This fact also holds true for our departed ancestors when they were living. So as a result, the subtle bodies of departed ancestors, they lack the spiritual energy to move forward in their afterlives. See, we all need to understand that once we are dead, we don't have this physical body, and we just have the subtle body. And the subtle body is able to move forward in the seven saptalokas only on the basis of the spiritual strength the body has, the subtle body has, or that jeev has. So as a result, the subtle bodies of departed ancestors, they lack the spiritual energy to move forward in their afterlives. So to move forward in afterlife, they need the help of some external spiritual energy, which can be gained through rites such as Shraddha. So, having taken the names of ancestors during the rite, the vibrations they generate they generate from the rituals, it match with the departed ancestors. Thus, it provides them with necessary spiritual energy. This helps him to go beyond the region of the dead, that is the Martya Lok, where most of them they get stuck in the afterlife. Also, when we do Shraddh, we are less likely that we are adversely affected by the ancestors in the region of dead and the nether region, that is the Bhuvar Lok. So there are different regions. One region is where we are living currently, that is the earth. Then there is a region where the dead subtle bodies they live. So they need spiritual energy, which they get from the shraddh that we do, that some or the other sort of rites that we do for them. So ritual helps them to move forward in their onward journey in the afterlife. So this is
So
the main
then,
reason.
yeah, but then there are many, we have many ancestors, right? So
Right.
if we have eight, seven or eight generation ancestor, he might have taken birth. So how does that affect him when we are doing Shraddh? Are we doing for our parents, grandparents, great grandparents, or completely our ancestor? What do you think?
Yeah. Basically, what we do, the shraddh that we do is basically from for our parents, our grandparents, and our great grandparents, the three generations.
Three
We do
generations.
shraddh for them because uh, there is a saying in our shastras which says that पू नामक नरक से जो मुक्ति दिलाए वो पुत्र है. That means the narak which is पू नामक नरक, वहां से जो मुक्ति दिलाए वो पुत्र है. तो पुत्र का काम है, the work of the putra, that is the son, is to liberate the older three generations from different lokas where the deceased ancestors are there, the departed souls are there. So it is basically the responsibility of the son to do this. So we do it for them, one. And two, the shraddha should be done on the tithi when the deceased person was dead, on a particular Hindu tithi when the person was dead. And secondly, it should be done with utmost bhav that yes, the pitru has come, the ancestors has come, they have come, and yes, we are offering the food to them, we are worshipping them, and we are helping them go further in their afterlife. So this is how it should be done. And there is one more provision in our shastras, like the upcoming Sarvapitri Amavasya would be there on the 2nd of October. So on Sarvapitri Amavasya, for all the deceased ancestors whom we know and the ones even we don't know about them, for all of them we do the Shraddha on the Sarvapitri Amavasya, and it helps them liberate from the regions where they are in trouble or where they are suffering. So this is what it helps them.
So, according to some Mahatmas, that even if our ancestors have taken birth and they are in their new lifestyle, when we pray on this particular day or we perform Shraddh, the benefit will go to them in their life in any case. They will be, they will progress in their life wherever they are. It's not necessary that you have to be dangling in the astral world unhappy. They can be even taken new birth. I mean, and they will be blessed also, according to some saints. So it's one for all. I mean, one puja for all the ancestors,
Yeah,
whether
it
they are
is
in
one for
astral
all the
body or
ancestors.
they have taken birth. This is what
And
many
one more
saints
thing
have
I would
shown.
like to highlight here is that in the present times, if we talk about present time, then we are living in Kali Yuga. In Kali
Mm,
Yuga, all the thinking is about self, me,
mm,
my property, my children, my money. Everything is me centric. We are all self centered. So we barely get time to think of God, or we barely get time to do some spiritual practice or some sadhana. So during the time of our death, when we die, whatever thought is there in our mind, we get stuck in that particular thought only. This is as per the Shastra. As per
mm.
Bhagavad Gita, it says that whatever the person is thinking during the time of his death, he gets stuck in that particular thing. Suppose if I'm thinking of my property, which I have earned through my hard earned money, I have struggled a lot to earn this particular amount of property, or my children, I have raised them with a lot of passion, with a lot of compassion, or if I am thinking about the money which I have to leave behind after my death. So what happens, I get stuck in property or in children or in money, and I get stuck here only, in this region only. I keep rotating, and my way of telling my son or my children would be through the ancestral problems, because we all understand the language of pain. Only if we have some or the other problems in our lives do we go to a saint, or we go to an astrologer, or we go to a temple and we start looking for solutions to it. So that's the reason it happens, one. And secondly, since we do not do a sadhana in our present life, what happens is we don't get birth again very easily. You might be a little surprised to know, but only 5% of the population which dies actually makes it to heaven. And very less percentage of people are able to get birth in human form again, because it depends on the karmas that we are doing presently, the good karmas and the bad karmas. So it all depends on that, and on the basis of that only we are able to get birth. So but we don't know which ancestor of ours has taken birth in which form, or whether they have taken birth or not. We don't know about it. So plainly, what we can do is we can pray, and we can do their shraddha. We can do some or the other thing to help them get liberated, help them have sadgati in their afterlives. This is our duty towards our ancestors.
I have one question. So this is our duty. What about the children? One you mentioned is the duty of the son. What about the daughter? Why should daughter be excluded from this exercise of Shraddha or removing Pitradosh?
Basically, if a person has a son, then the son does it, and if the person does not have the son, then the duty of the daughter is also there, one.
Hmm.
And secondly, it is the duty of every child, basically. Son, I said just to denote, or just to signify, but as per shastras also, the son is supposed to do the shraddha of his father and mother and all of them. Why not daughter? Because she is married in a particular, in some other kul usually, and it becomes the duty of the daughter to help to help her husband with the shraddha and other activities in that particular family also. And apart from this, the chanting of the name of Lord Dattatreya is equally applicable to the son and the daughter, both male and female, because this chanting helps in liberation of the souls, in getting them sadgati. So this also we will understand in the later part of this episode.
And that we can come later on. But then there's one thing. What if the children nowadays you say is Kali, they start abusing their parents who have already been deceased? Obviously, it's a sin, but how would you rate that kind of sin? If a child talks ill against somebody, that is also a sin. But talking against his parents, is it a greater sin or what,
Of
according to
course it
you?
is. Of
Hmm?
course it is, because we all are suffering. We all have problems in our lives, but that doesn't mean that we have the right to curse anybody or say ill of our own parents. Because in Sanatan Hindu Dharma, we are we do have different types of rin. Rin means which what we have to repay. One of the rin is Pitru rin. Pitru rin is the rin which is caused by our parents. Parents, because they have given birth to their children, and whatever we do, we can never ever fade off the amount of efforts which a parent takes to raise children, the amount of compassion that they have for their children. So if somebody does like this, then that is of course a very big sin.
So then the other way around, what if the father and mother they have done wrong things in their life?
I
They
didn't
have
get your question.
collected bribe, they have done bribe, they have done, lived a corrupt life. So their actions, can it infiltrate on the life of the child? How does
Yes, of
that?
course. uh,
So,
it can affect the life of the child, because if they are earning money through ill means, and they are serving their children with that money only, then what happens is the amount of karma that they have committed a sin of taking bribery, and then they are raising their children with that money. So of course the son also gets the amount of sin, bit amount of sin, because he or she is unaware. If he or she is not aware of this thing, then the amount of sin would be little lesser. If the person is aware and still he's not saying anything to the father or the mother, then he will be given a lot of more amount of sin, I would say.
so let us recapitulate. So dosh, Pitra dosh comes upon you primarily if the soul personality is distressed in the astral world, number one.
Right.
And number two, if he or she has lived in sin, and that dosh is also on the children. So the question is, how do we remove these two different type of dosh? That will come. So before you answer that, we can ask, do you know of any other causes of pitta dosh, or how can you deal with pitta dosh?
So, other causes, I think I have discussed all the causes of Pitradosh, and how we
Correct.
can deal with Pitradosh is doing Shraddha of that particular departed ancestor. Shraddha we
Hmm.
will discuss in greater details. And second part, what we can do for dealing with Pitradosh is chanting the name of Lord Dattatreya Devta. Lord Dattatreya Devta, I would request the technical team to show his photographs so that the viewers can come to know who Lord Dattatreya Devta is.
Okay.
So, chanting the name of Lord Dattatreya Devta is in the form of Sri Gurudev Datta. We can chant his name as Sri Gurudev Datta. This chant helps the ancestors to actually go further in their afterlives and liberate us from the pitradoshas. So this also uh, helps us. And there is this significance of Shraddha in Sanatan Hindu Dharma. So that also can be discussed. That also we can come to know.
So instead of giving food, I mean, I'm saying this in advance, but if we are going to chant Sri Gurudev Dutt, so in that case, our results could be multifold, because we are trying to then protect ourselves against the sins of the parents, and also we are helping them to move ahead. So it has got a double-edged meaning or function, chanting
Yeah,
this name.
yeah, chanting the name of Sri Gurudev Datta helps because along with the Shraddha ritual that we are doing, we should also be doing this on a regular, on a day-to-day basis. Shraddha we have to do once in a year during this particular time period uh, of Mahalaya Shraddha, which is going on currently. The Mahalaya Shraddha, it comes in Bhadrapad month. So this particular 15 days time period is when Shraddh needs to be done. But the chanting of the name of God, Sri Gurudev Datta, Dattatreya Devta's chant, this can be done on everyday basis. It does not require us to be done only in these 15 days. We can do it 365 days a year. And it
So
can
now
help
you are
the
recommending
liberation.
according to what you have learned from your organization. What is your organization full name? Is
Sanatan Sanstha.
Sanatan
Sanstha.
Sanstha. Now, what about any other mantra compared to Sri Gurudev? Why Sri Gurudev Datta is more important or more efficacious than Om Namah Shivaya or some other mantra? Do you have any answer for that?
See, this particular chant is for combating the ancestral problems. Om Namah
Hmm.
Shivaya or any other chant is the name or the chant of that particular deity only. If we are
Hmm.
talking about Lord Dattatreya's chant, then this particular chant is for combating the ancestral problems which we just
Okay.
discussed. If we are seeing the ancestors in our dreams, if we can see them or we can perceive them around us, or we are seeing snakes in our uh, dreams, or we have a lot of financial problems, or the entire family is suffering from one or the other problem and the problems are just not going away, and the ancestral problems are the basic causes of our problems in our lives, then we should chant the name of Lord Dattatreya, because it clears our give and take account with our ancestors. The mechanism of how this works is that the subtle basic sattva component is generated through the chant and it is passed on to the ancestor.
So ये
This
जो
acts
श्री
as a repayment mechanism and it
ये
helps to nullify the give and take account between the affected person and the ancestor.
अच्छा द अकाउंट ये जो श्री गुरुदेव दत्त का जो मंत्र जाप है,
Right.
ये का कुछ शास्त्र में इनका वर्णन है कि नहीं,
हाँ,
कि
ये
इट
शास्त्र में
इज अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ योर संस्था?
no, it is there in the Shastras because it is told in the Shastras that the Dattatreya Bhagwan or Lord Dattatreya is the Swami or the principal of Pitralok. Hence, he is
ओके
the one who gives Sadgati to the departed ancestors. So, hence, if we humans worship him, our ancestral problems or the Pitra dosh becomes less, and the ancestors they get liberation. His name, how we can chant is Shri Gurudev Datta. If possible, if it can be played also, I have given the audio to the technical team. If possible, we can play it also how we should chant, so that the
प्लीज
viewers can
डू
come
इट.
to know how we can chant it.
ओके, कैन यू डू इट एंड देन वील रिक्वेस्ट Vishal to come on the floor to ask you further questions.
Yeah.
So
श्री गुरुदेव दत्त, 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 श्री गुरुदेव दत्त.
thank you. So can we request Vishal now? You
Yeah,
continue
sure.
with the Shraddh. Wait, how does it function in
Yes,
Sanatan Dharma? Please go ahead while I take
sure.
rest.
Sure.
But
So yeah, till now it is going very insightful, and everybody performs the shard, but coming the logical answers which you have given and the way you have explained and simplified to our viewers is very great. Even I came to know so many things, and when it comes from a learned person like you, it really impacts a lot.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kritika ji. So I will further continue with my question. So whenever we perform a act, or you can say rather I would say perform a ritual on the lines of shraddha, whatever rituals we perform with the pandit at a specific location. So what is the importance of such rituals, and if you can just name a couple of them and why it is performed and how it is performed, and why it is done every year. So some people feel that okay, once you have done, then it's done. Like every single year at a specific tithi, we are doing this till we are alive, and it continues till to the further or future generations. So if you can just highlight this point, please.
Right. So the Shraddh ritual in its traditional form is very elaborated. So as a result, in present time, if we talk about, we are all living in the Kali Yuga. So it may be difficult for some people to organize the various aspects and perform the ritual. So in case one can't arrange for the complete ritual, we provide few easy steps for anyone to complete the Shraddh ritual for their departed ancestors. The traditional Shraddh ritual should be conducted by the eldest male member of the family. However, the simple version can be conducted by any male or even female family members. But the important point over here is that this is part of the Karma Kand. There are different ways of worshipping gods. One way is through the acts, dharmic acts, or the rituals that we do. So there are certain rules about the rituals to be done. So females, when they do a particular ritual, then it should be done when they are not in their menstrual cycle. So these kind of rituals should not be conducted by females during their menstrual cycle. That is the period of the 5 days. Ideally, this ritual given should be conducted every day during the Pitru Paksh fortnight. However, since it is not possible for us, then it should be conducted on at least one of the days during the Pitrupaksh fortnight. So, first step is ritualistic offering of the food. So, I would request the technical team to show how ritualistic offering of the food should be there. We have to mix some steamed rice and black sesame seeds and place them on a plate along with a glass of water. Keep this offering in the backyard or a balcony or anywhere outside the house. You can also cook a nice vegetarian meal as an offering. And the best time to offer the food is between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. So this is the first step which we have to do. First step is either we can make good vegetarian food, complete food like dal, chawal, roti, chutney, all of this into
Mhm.
it, and little meetha like kheer, which we serve to our ancestors. Because what happens when we are able to serve food to the ancestors they are there during this period around the earth region only. Why during this period? Because during the Mahalaya Shraddha period, the ancestors
Yeah.
they come closer to this region of our earth plane. So whatever we offer them through food, it goes to them through the smell of the food. They get attracted
Okay.
to the smell of the food, and it is through the smell of the food which they are able to get tripti, or they are able to get satisfied. Their desires they get satisfied. Second thing, what we have to do is we have to pray to the departed ancestors. Pray and mentally call out to all of our departed ancestors from this birth and from the earlier births to come and partake of the offering. Departed ancestors' subtle bodies they usually come in the form of crows to peck at the offering. Pray to deity Dattatreya that your ancestors may be satisfied with the meal which we are serving them.
Hmm.
Step three is an important step which nowadays people don't usually do, but it is an important step. We have to stand and face the south at home. Take a long blade of grass that is which is called as darb in Hindi, and we should
Mhm.
pray to become spiritually pure. The darb variety of grass has more capacity to hold the absolute cosmic fire principle, and hence it has the ability to spiritually purify the holder and the environment as well. We should
Mhm.
tie a bit of grass like a ring around the ring finger of the right hand. Take a glass
Mhm.
of water in the left hand and slowly pour the water on the right palm. Let the water
Mhm.
flow out between the thumb and the index finger of the right palm onto a gold, silver, or copper plate if possible.
Okay.
This is known as tarpan. So, this tarpan also needs to be done. It should be done like this. So the water should be flowing from this area. So this tarpan also needs to be done for our ancestors, and this is an important ritual which needs to be done. And then ritualistic disposal of offering. If a crow has not pegged at the food until late afternoon, the food needs to be disposed of before the sunset. The best way of disposing the food is to immerse it in flowing water like a stream or the sea. In case this is also not possible, then it can be immersed in the lake also. The last option is to bury the leftovers in the ground. Do not bring the leftovers back into the house. This is a very important point, that the food which we have served to our ancestors, it should not be coming back into our homes. So this is an
Okay.
important
Okay.
point. And then there
Okay.
is
That's
feeding
fine.
of the Brahmin also. If you would have any questions about that also, we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
discuss.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Correct. Correct. Yeah, so that was good that you showed us the pictures. And actually, many people say that when you're offering the food, how your ancestors going to eat, and as you're wasting and all that. But the actual thing which you said, that they smell, and their atma is like, they feel, the atma feel good. So as in our Shraddha, that sorry, like in Shraddha, they say that when you are living, the Atma all never dies. Only your body leaves. So maybe this is the call for the Atma, I guess. So
Right.
my next question is that, as you rightly closed this question, I will start from there. So when we feed the Brahmins or the Pandits, during this period of Shraddha. So, as you explained, like why the crows come and how the Atma gets attracted to the smell of the food.
Right.
Similarly, what is the logic, or not logic, but what is the importance of feeding a Brahmin on in this particular period of time, Shraddha?
Yeah, so through Brahmin also, when we are feeding the Brahmin, we have the bhav, or we have that thing in our in the state of mind that through Brahmin the ancestors have come and we are feeding them. So the food should be served on a plate woven from mahua, or on a banana leaf it should be served. I know it might seem little impractical in today's time, but if possible, we should do it. One important point is that salt should not be served on the leaf for the Brahmin invited for the Shraddh. We can serve sweet delicacies like laddus, or the kheer that we make for them. We can also serve them with salads, chutney, all of this. So we have to first of all begin by smearing the leaf with ghee, then serve rice in the center. To the right, serve kheer and other vegetable dishes. Then chutney and salad should be served on the left hand side. Whatever we have made like kadhi, sambar, papar, fritters, all of this, they should be on the upper side of the leaf. Finally, some ghee on the top of the rice, followed by dal, has to be tempered. The underlying science behind this is, by serving food in this particular order is the opposite of the usual practice. In the usual practice, what we do is we put namak or salt first of all in the plate. As per Shastra, salt should be served first of all. But in the food which is served to the Brahmin, it is without salt being served. So we do it opposite to the usual practice, and the Rajatama predominant waves they are generated through it, and these facilitate the consumption of food by the departed soul.
Okay,
We should
understood.
understand that the departed soul is able to do it and able to grasp it through the smell of the food. If we cannot do it, like if we do not have money, or people do have these questions that what about the people who do not have money, who are very poor, who can't afford to make meal, the entire meal for their Brahmin to be served, so what should they do? So in the Shastras, alternative option also for Shraddha ritual is given, that if we cannot perform all these steps, if we have unavoidable circumstances, if we have some financial problems, then as a last resort what we can do is we can go into an open space outdoor and face the south direction, raise both the hands up in the air to denote surrender, and pray to deity Dattatreya that I am helpless. I pay obeisance to all my departed ancestors. Let all my departed ancestors be satisfied through my devotion only. O deity Dattatreya, you only please give momentum to my departed ancestors and relieve me from the debt to my ancestors. So we can do this prayer onto the holy charan of Lord Dattatreya, and this can help gain momentum to the departed ancestors. So this is as per the Shastra.
Right. Very nice. And like you said, Brahmin. If you like feed a Brahmin, then it makes more. It reaches to them. So what happens if you feed a non-Brahmin? So how does a Brahmin and a non-Brahmin feeding? What is the logic or maybe theory behind this, as per the Shastras?
Feeding a non-Brahmin is like not following the ritual as per Shraddha. We can do
Okay.
feed non-Brahmins on any other day also, and we can do it on this particular day of Shraddha also, but we cannot call it as Shraddha. If we are calling
Okay.
it as Shraddha, then it has to be done through through the medium of that particular Pandit or that Brahmin only, that ancestors they can get liberated. Because see, if I want to see TV, and for TV I need Tata Sky or Airtel connection or whatever, some or the other kind of connection I want, I will
Right.
have to
Right.
have, then I will have to have that particular TV box. and then electricity. All these are required for me to help me watch that
Correct.
TV. So
Correct.
similarly, if we want Shraddha to happen, if we want to get liberated from debt to our ancestors, then there are certain rules and regulations. As we follow in our worldly life, all the rules and regulations, and we follow all the basic guidelines to do a particular act, so is there in spiritual practice in Sanatan Hindu Dharma also. So this is about it.
Understood. Oh, very well explained. Yeah. The example which you gave was like literally it answers all the questions. And similarly, just continuation of the Brahmins. And the second question which comes is the feeding the crows. So,
Right.
there are during the Shraddh period these days in the social media platforms, you must have seen a lot of people are, they create a mimicry out of this crows coming, and, and many stand up comedians are also making fun of this ritual when you are feeding the crows. And there are a lot of memes on the internet I have seen, which I'm very sadly saying that I don't know why, but people always try to make fun out of our rituals and our religion, which is really very sad. So, just can you, like how you explained about the Brahmins, what is the ritual about feeding the crows, please?
Right. First of all, I would like to thank you for acknowledging the fact that people nowadays have started making fun or mocking Sanatan Hindu Dharma alone, and they never talk about any other religion on
Correct.
on this planet. One, the basic reason behind this is people like general Hindus, they are not aware of the basic shastras, the basic science behind the rituals that we are doing. So Hindus themselves, they make fun of all this. All the stand-up comedians or the social media platforms which you're talking about, all the Hindus only are making fun of all this. The reason
Correct.
behind this is they are not aware of the science behind it, the spiritual science behind Shraddha, the spiritual science behind Navratris. Why do we celebrate Navratri? How to do it? Why do we do the Kanjak Pujan? How to do it? So all the small things that we are doing, there is a spiritual significance of it, and there is a science to it which we are not aware of, and that's why we are making fun of it. So it is the duty of each and every Sanatani Hindu who feels that yes, I am a Sanatani Hindu, to stop these people from making fun of the rituals that we do, and to get educated about these things. So I'm very much thankful to you and to Dada Dayal Harjani ji also, because he has organized such a webinar which helps people know about Pitra Dosh, about Shraddh, why it should be done. So more of such events can be organized for helping people understand Sanatan Hindu Dharma in the truest form. So this is about it, and how we should know about each and every detail about the ritualistic worship that we are doing. So one important aspect of it is feeding the crow. So in the ritual of Shraddha, the deceased ancestors, they are invoked through offering of a pinda, and their unfulfilled desires are fulfilled. The desires in an average individual are high, because of which the Rajatama predominant dispersing frequencies are emitted from the subtle body. The crow is a bird which has the maximum capacity to attract odd frequencies. Hence, it perceives these frequencies, and when the subtle body of an ancestor gets attracted to a pinda, it gets charged with the unequal frequencies. The crow gets attracted to these frequencies. The crow pecking at the pinda is an indicator that the ancestor has come to the venue of the Shraddh and has been satiated. Thus, the crow
Okay.
serves as a medium to connect subtle bodies with desires and human beings. If the science underlying this is comprehended, then many crows pecking at the pinda simultaneously depicts the presence of several deceased ancestors there during the rite of the Shraddh. In this ritual, the crow is merely a medium. It is important to understand. In fact, debt unto ancestors is one of the four debts to be repaid in life as per Sanatan Hindu Dharma. The crow has been endowed with special vision. This fortnight is not merely for deceased fathers, but for deceased ancestors. That is why questioning why many crows peck at the same pind simultaneously or the same crow pecks at different pinders is ridiculous. This is like asking how the same teacher can teach students from different classes. So, same teacher
Right.
can teach students from different classes. Same way, this can also happen. And people making fun of the rituals of Sanatan Hindu Dharma, they are all making sins, and we should all stop them from making such sins. We should tell them
Yeah.
the Shastras, and this can only be done if we are aware of our own ritualistic worship.
True. True. Very true. So yeah, again, well explained. Now, so as you said, there are the birds have different frequencies. So I will
Correct.
just twist this. I'll just maybe add on to this question, and I will try to knit the coming question to this extension of this question. So when you try to combat pitru dosha, like as you said, there is a dosh, and we try to combat that by doing all these rituals. So and when you talk about the crow is actually the crow is not a pure vegetarian bird. It also it relies on veg and non-veg food both. And when you serve the pind or the food, when you actually you offer to your ancestors, and the crow tries to eat it. So why not a pigeon or any other bird? If you're talking about, why is this specifically crow? This is my first question. Secondly, Hindu people, they are vegetarian and non-vegetarian as well. So I don't have any disrespect for eating or any bias for any people who are eating non-veg. But what is the link? What does Sanatana Dharma say about eating non-vegetarian food? And how is crow assigned to this job? Maybe whoever has assigned this job, maybe our ancestors. And why we think that the crow is the only assignee of this kind of feeling that our ancestors. Why not a pigeon, which is a pure veg? So these are two questions knitted with each other. If you can answer it, please.
Yeah, so this is like asking a heart surgeon why only a heart surgeon can do the surgery of heart, and why not a surgeon of cancer, or why not a dermatologist, or why
Okay.
not uh, any other doctor. Because the heart surgeon has the capability, he has studied, he has learned, and he has the capability to do heart surgery. That's why he has been assigned to do particular task. So same way, since you and me, we are all normal individuals who do not know the science behind why God has done or why God has assigned this particular duty to this particular bird only. So this, the one reason behind it is that crow has the ability to perceive the odd vibrations or the odd frequencies. So when crow comes, then it is significant of the fact that the pitra or the ancestor has also come at that particular place. That is why crow was able to perceive those frequencies and was able to be there. So this is
Right.
a significant fact of
Okay.
the ancestors coming. And the first question, maybe you can ask again. I couldn't relate to it.
Yeah. So how is non-vegetarian food connected? Is there any restriction in Sanatana Dharma that a person who is following Sanatana Dharma can eat non-vegetarian food? Like, why I'm asking this question, because during Shraddh people stop eating non-veg. Shraddh चल रहा है. मेरे पेरेंट्स का मतलब श्राद्ध का पीरियड में people don't eat non-veg food. So what is the logic behind why people don't eat non-veg? And if non-veg is bad during that 15 days or 12 days or 1 month, then why it is like other than those days? Why does Sanatan Dharma followers eat non-veg as well? That is my question.
I would like to say here that eating veg or non-veg food is a personal choice. One. Secondly, why it should not be eaten during these 15 days time period of Mahalaya Shraddha, which is ending on 2nd of October this year. So why it should not be eaten during this time? Because as I said that during this 15 days time period, the ancestors, they come closer to the earth region. So their presence is there all over. And when their presence is there, then these are all departed ancestors who are not able to get liberated further, or they're not able to get sadgati in their afterlives, and they do have rajatama uh, frequencies, I would say. In a simpler terms, I would say that they have kind of negative vibrations. So if I consume non-vegetarian food, which is bit on the side of the negative vibrations, then my rajatama frequencies or my negative vibrations also get increased. So that is why it should not be eaten, one. And secondly, during this period, we are trying to repay our debt to our ancestors. We are doing shraddha karma for our ancestors. And in the shraddha karma also, when we make the diet or the food for our ancestors, then that is like simple sattvic bhojan, like dal, chawal, roti, sabzi. All the things are very sattvic bhojan. So we serve them with sattvic
Right.
bhojan only. So that is why also it should not be eaten. And the
Understood.
second
Thank you. Thank
question,
you
the
for the
second part
answer.
of the
Yeah.
question, that
Yeah.
why it can be eaten on the other days and why not during this particular day. So on other days also, if we are trying to have a more sattvic set of life, I was just reading a social media post today in the morning, which said that from the day I left non-veg food, my life entirely changed and I started living a more sattvic life. My success rate also increased. This may vary from individual to individual, but if we are trying to live a more sattvic lifestyle, then of course we should switch to vegetarian food, then non-vegetarian food. But of course, it depends on a person's personal choice.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dada, you can continue. I am done
Vishal,
with my question.
I have something funny to ask also, something that can create some humor. First thing, you mentioned about banana leaf, right,
Yeah.
Kritika? So what is this? Why is it necessary in to have shraddh on banana leaf? It's not necessary as far as I'm concerned.
Uh, if possible, we can do it. But in today's time, if it is not possible, then we can avoid it as well. One. And two, the banana leaf, you might be wondering, banana is the most sattvic of all the fruits.
Hmm.
So the banana leaf is the most sattvic of all the fruit leaves that are available. So if we serve the food on banana leaf, then positivity increases. Whether we are serving food to devatas or we are serving food to our ancestors for their liberation, it helps. So that's why it
We
should
can
be used.
serve on silver or gold.
Yeah, we can.
But in those days, there were no plates. But now we have gold,
Yeah,
silver, brass, whatever.
right.
So it's not necessary that we have to follow each and every tradition from the past. I mean, we have to evolve, right? In the modern generation.
This is basically the shastra, what is given in shastra that we are discussing. Whatever part we are able to imbibe, whatever part we are able to implement in our daily lives, it is helpful for us. So it
Yeah,
depends
but
on
in the
person to person.
Shastras, when the Shastras were written, there were no gold and silver plates. So they could only talk about banana leaf because that was the most cleanest thing around amongst the leaves vegetable kingdom.
Yeah,
So,
but
so
yeah,
I'm
you're
I'm
right.
a bit trying to create a humorous dialogue. So it's okay. We can go ahead with silver and gold, right? No problem.
I would say what is there as per shastra,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
whatever
sure.
we can imbibe and implement, it depends from individual to individual.
Okay, so now we come to the word Brahmin and Purohit.
Yeah.
Before that, we say that one jnani is equal to 100 Brahmins. Do you believe in that?
Yeah.
So then, if I could just call one jnani and feed her on Pitar, I mean, Shraddh is okay also.
But that Jnani definition is again relative. It depends.
On
The kind of knowledge that the Jnani has and who considers him Jnani. It depends on that.
ज्ञानी I'm not talking ज्ञानी like सिंधी में कौन चवंदा आहिनि भई हिकिड़ी न्याणी equal to 100 brahmin. You
Acha,
believe in that?
Jnani you're talking about.
न्याणी, yeah.
Jnani.
हिकिड़ी न्याणी
Uh,
equal to 100 brahmin.
yeah, this is
That's what they
because,
say. You
yeah.
believe in that?
Acha, this you're saying, I actually misunderstood your question.
No.
Yeah,
So
so
nyani, I'm talking. So if I call a nyani on during Pitra, Shraddh, so it's equal to 100 Brahmins.
yeah, what happened? No, we come from Sindhi culture. So if we talk about Sindhi culture, then it has got thousands of years of gulami, I would say. We used to live in Pakistan, wherein we were all surrounded by Mughals, or I would say Islamists. So we had so much of effect of those Islamists that even today, if somebody hits us, the first word which comes from our mouth is what? Allah.
Allah. Hmm.
Why Allah? Why not Sri Ram? Why not Sri Krishna? Why not Sri Shiv? Why not something else? Why Allah?
Hmm.
Because we were living in such an area wherein we were all surrounded by Islamists, and what we used to hear day and night was Allah. So, what comes to our mind? First thing which comes to our mind is the word Allah. So, this much is the impact of Islam on our culture because we were all surrounded by it. But I bow down to all the Sindhis. Why? I myself being Sindhi. Why? Because we were still surrounded by such kind of culture, but still we remained Hindu. We did not
Hmm.
convert to Islam. We opted to remain Hindu for the rest of our lives. Our generations are also Hindu. I bow down at my grandparents who left Pakistan, who came to Bharat, who raised us as Hindu kids and proud Hindu kids. So that's what our culture, our Sindhi culture is. So at that point in time, when we were not having so many Brahmins around us, what we did is we started worshipping Nyani, or a small little girl. Why small little girl? Because the little children, the girls, little girls, they are a prakat root of Shakti. So that's why we used to serve them instead of Brahmins, because we didn't have so many Brahmins back then. So that's why it is called in Sindhi that one Nyani equals to 100 Brahmins. But as per the Shastra of Sanatan Hindu Dharma, what we should feed, whom we should feed is the Brahmin and the crow as per Shastra. But during that time we didn't have so many Brahmins. During that time we did not have all these kind of knowledge, and we had to find some or the other solution or the alternate to it. That is why we started worshipping Nyani, and we started doing this.
Okay, seems quite interesting.
Yeah,
Something to think about. But
yeah.
normally when we say Allah Bala, I mean, it's Allah means sign of pain or something like that, right? It's not necessarily we are invoking Allah, but Allah means, Allah, wait,
But why?
Parethi.
Why Allah? Why Allah? We need to think on it. Why Allah? The
Yeah,
day
so
I
this I'm
started
saying.
thinking on this point is the day I stopped saying Allah when somebody hit me, or when something unpleasant or something pleasant came to me. I
Correct.
started saying Sri Krishna. I started saying Sri Rama.
Something to think about.
Right.
So now, see, we have to decide the difference between Purohit and Brahmin. Now, according to our definition or the Shastra definition, Brahman is that individual who's academic, who's intellectual, who's spiritual, etc. And the Purohit is the people who perform pujas and rituals. So here there's a very fine dividing line by whether you're calling the Purohits Brahmin or How do you differentiate between these two? Can you differentiate? Suppose I have a Brahmin friend. He's he's not a Purohit. He's a very highly intellectual. So then if I invite him, is it the same like Pitra, the Purohit? Maybe he does not know all the mantras, but his heart is so pure. He's a Jnani. He's a Brahmin. So
He's a
here there is
Brahmin.
something to think about.
Yeah, we all need to think on this. But usually, when we are talking about a Brahmin in this sense, when we are talking about doing Shraddha for our ancestors, then that Brahmin has to be a Purohit Brahmin when we are talking about it, because that
Okay.
has to be done with a particular ritualistic worship. The Shraddha has to be done with a particular type of ritualistic worship. So that's why it has to be like this.
But do you
But of
think that
course, if we talk about today's
all
Brahmins,
Purohits are Jnani or they are Brahmin? They may come from a
yeah,
Brahmin lineage,
yeah.
but all Purohits are maybe not Jnanis
Yeah,
or
I'm
in a
I'm
real
coming to
sense.
that point only now. I'm just coming to that point because in today's time, what has happened is there are many, like thousands, lakhs of purohits nowadays. But if you go and ask them that why do we do the arti in the morning and in the evening? Why do we go to the temple and we touch the first stair of that temple? What is the reason behind it? Or why to light up a diya in the temple of ghee? Why not of oil? What is the reason behind all this? Then these people, the ones who call themselves as purohits, they are not able to answer those questions, because nowadays there is no provision of providing dharma shiksha to these purohits also. They are also studying in the same normal schools, and because their father was a priest or a purohit, so that's why they have become a priest or a purohit as a lineage, as you said. But they are not given the kind of dharma shiksha or the education on dharma which is required, so that they
Hmm.
are able to teach the society the ritualistic worship and the science behind all the spiritual acts that we do.
So I'll end the show with a funny thing happened. We had a Purohit who was a very good friend of mine, and there was some other we had called for puja. Now, this Purohit friend of mine had put on some weight, and I knew and he has got some diabetes. So, when the laddus came, we offered the laddu to the other Brahmin, but I did not offer to this fellow. He got angry. So, now I didn't want him to eat that laddu because I know he's got diabetes.
Right, right.
So, I got a firing from my wife. Why are you showing up here? Let him be what. So, it's a very tricky situation. How do you do? Sometimes it's very difficult to draw the line and to give
Right,
something to somebody which it may not be good for him. So
right,
anyway, that's just in the passing. So I think
right.
it's been an interesting show. Where is Vishal? Are you there? Oh, Vishal.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. I
Oh,
was
Vishal.
just,
Do you have
when you
anything
speak, I
to
go
say?
backstage. Yeah, yeah. I just want to say one thing which I can't stop. So as Kritika ji said that she stopped speaking Allah and the logic which you said, I agree to that. But similarly, when you said that your grandparents and even my great grandparents, everyone, most of the people have come from Sindh. So, but unknowingly, we always say that my ancestors were from Pakistan, and we were moved out of Pakistan. But even I was stopped by some very senior person and said that never say this because after we left, Pakistan was born. So you should never say that that our ancestors are from Pakistan
Right,
because we left from there. Pakistan was created after we left.
right, right,
Hmm.
So and people in India also they you are guys have run away from Pakistan and we this that
We are an
they we
integral
just
part of Bharat.
so
Even
never
in those
never in
days.
our life you should we should say that our ancestors are from Pakistan because that is not true. Just I want to
But
highlight
it
that
is
thing.
not fair. Our
Yeah,
ancestors were not
that's
from
that's a
Pakistan
great point.
because Pakistan
Instead
was
of
not created
saying,
at that time.
yeah,
How
it
can you
wasn't
say that
created.
we are from Pakistan?
Right,
We are from
right,
Bharat.
I proudly say that my ancestors or my great grandparents
they were from
were
Sindh.
from Sindh. They were from Sindh, and they were made to leave their hometowns because Pakistan was created. And after
No,
Right,
that,
Sindh
Pakistan.
Bharat. No, we should say Sindh Bharat.
Yeah.
In those days, before 1947, it was
right.
Sindh Bharat,
It was part of
Akhand
Bharat.
Bharat.
Right,
So
right,
So
we
when
should,
every one of us will talk like this, they will realize that we are not from Pakistan.
right.
Pakistan was created
yeah,
after
but they
we.
have to be taught that you should say
Yeah.
Sindh Bharat. In before 1947, Sindh
I
Right.
was
stop
part
everyone.
of Bharat.
Whoever tells me that you guys have come from Pakistan, I just correct
Sindh
them
was
and say
given
agree
away as
because this is the
dowry
truth.
to Pakistan. So
Right.
Yeah.
anyway, that's another thing. So should we say goodbye now and end the show, or you have
Yes, sir.
anything to say regarding Dattatreya Devta? Anything to say, Kritika?
Yeah, so Dattatreya
You have
Devta
said
is,
enough.
yeah,
Anything?
he's the Swami or the principal of the Pitralok. So that's why if we worship him, then the ancestral problems they can be combated, and we can get liberated. Our ancestors can get liberated, and all the problems that we face due to the ancestral problems they get reduced in our lives.
So should
And
we
also,
chant 108 times? Like, can you tell the viewers that if they want to pray for their ancestors and for the relief of the ancestors and their own relief, then it
yeah,
would be advisable to chant 108 times mantra
I
Sri
would
Gurudev.
suggest, yeah, I would suggest to chant it for 2 hours a day instead
Two
of
hours
just,
a day,
yeah,
quite
108
a lot.
times, because, yeah, because it can be chanted maybe not in one go, because nowadays we don't have that much of time that we can spare 2 hours at one go. What we can do is do it for half an hour time, 4 times in a day, or we can do it 15 minutes, or if not possible to do it 2 hours a day, then we can start it from 1 hour a day, 15 minutes, four intervals we can do. So like that it should be done. And it has no bandhan, it has no this thing that we should do it with mala, we have to do it while sitting, we have to do it in the temple. There is no such kind of bandhan to it, because it is a naam jap, it is not a mantra jap. If it is a mantra, then there has to be certain restriction to it, because it is a naam jap, so there is no such restriction to it. So we can do it anywhere, anytime, in any position we can do it. And it should be done like Shri Gurudev Datt, like we heard the audio in the earlier
Hmm.
part of this podcast.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
I'm quite happy with that. The difference between mantra jap and nam jap.
yeah,
So that is quite liberating. So we are free to chant his name for the emancipation of our elders and ancestors. So it's a
right.
good thing. So no
And I,
restrictions. We are free to chant his name at any time we want. So we can
right.
start it right now.
And I would like
Vaishali,
to add that my own experience chanting Shri Gurudev Datta, it has helped me with so many problems in my life. It has made my life much more simpler. So I am myself a living example of getting
really,
the benefit of this particular chant. And not only me, but thousands and lakhs of people who are following this chant, who are doing it on a regular basis, they are free from different types of ancestral problems which they were facing earlier in their lives. So it is a very powerful chant.
ठीक है. I'm sure we all are going to benefit by this. And I feel it has been a very interesting show. And I'm very grateful to you to have volunteered to this idea of ours. And you came on the show with some brilliant reasoning and logic and
Thank you
factual
so much.
answers. So
I'm
God bless
grateful to you for inviting me for this show. I'm very happy to
you.
be a
But
part of
we'll
this.
have you again. You are part of the show. You are right from the beginning. You were part
Yeah,
of our
that's
team, right? So
right.
hope you'll continue with us, and
Yeah,
we can invite some other preachers or guest speakers from your organization
Right.
in the future. Now, Vishal will request Kritika to end the
Yeah,
show
please.
with a small prayer.
Right.
Kritika ji,
Yes,
would you
please.
like to say a prayer for everyone and we'll end the show?
Yeah. As we are following Sanatan Hindu Dharma, which thinks good for all. So this prayer unto the holy charan of the divine, Sarvetra Sukhinah Santu, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukhamapnuyat. This means we think good for all people around. May everyone be happy and contented in their lives. This is our prayer with this show. Thank you so much.
And thank you once again for the
Thank
show,
you.
and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah,
I'll
thank
talk
you
to
so
you
much.
later.
Thank you.
Vishal,
Hari Om. Thank
See
you.
you.
Thank
I
you.
wish
Hari
Hari
you
Om.
good
Om.
luck also, and
Thank
good
you,
luck for
Kritika
your
ji.
Dubai
Thank you.
projects. He's
Thank you,
just gone
sir.
to Dubai to start his new
Okay.
business.
Okay,
So we
okay.
want to wish
Great.
him
Many
luck
congratulations.
Thank
so he
you.
can come back a big
Yeah.
shot
Yeah.
from the billionaire from Dubai. We wish
Right.
you good luck.
Thank you, Dada. All your blessings. Thank you, Dada. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you again soon.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Pradeep ji. Thank you very much.